and 98.3 FM. The Situation Room. We are always watching.
That's why again say there. The eyes have it.
See you. You know you can do the right thing, right? You know you don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes. We understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform that you bought with your own money filed on government to wake up to their responsibilities. We want the police to be our friends, just as it is boldly stated across the various police stations nationwide. And from mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better. We love you and we support you always.
Your safety matters, and knowing how to make an emergency call can save lives. In times of trouble, knowing what to do and who to call can make all the difference. In case of fire, if you see a fire outbreak in either your home, office, or neighborhood, what do? In case of a crime or in danger, or you see something suspicious, what do? Also, health emergencies come without warning. So, in case of an accident, if someone is unconscious, injured, not breathing, or having a medical emergency, what then do you do? Simple. Reach out to the appropriate personnel by calling the emergency toll-free line on 112 or 767. Remember, 112 or 767. Now here is what to do when you call. Stay calm and speak clearly. Describe the emergency, give your exact location, give your name and phone number so the personnel can contact you if needed. Stay on the line. Follow any instructions, don't hang up until you're told to. And very importantly, do not misuse the emergency line, as OAX calls delay real help and are punishable by law. 112 in an emergency. This message is brought to you by Mainland United.
FM, the Tuesday edition, and I want to, and of course, a bit closer to the Christmas period. Just sit back and I wonder, like, wait a minute, every Christmas, I mean, the markets are full, clothes, new stuff, people are building houses, people are packing into their houses, people are buying new cars, expect Nigerians for would have these resilient spirit of never giving up. So when the issue of suicide started, I mean, you see a typical 70-year-old man and he tells you that Nigeria go better, it go better, because it looks. I wanted to talk to someone earlier today and I was like, see, okay, I'm tired of this. We have also joined you to talk, so we won't stop talking until things get better. You're welcome to the Situation Room, the Tuesday edition. My name is Oᴏ, that of the police. Of late, we've also been seeing videos of, I don't want to say a return to the pre-EndSARS. It's beginning to raise its ugly head again, and it's a lot of costing us, a lot to worry. Yes, big shout out to the leadership of the Nigerian police force, especially the Lagos State Police Command. Some of these officers, if you report them, they are punished, some of them demoted, some of them, even sacked or removed from the seat, like it's a circle that we're struggling to break free from. Because why would you, in other countries, even if I've never been to the US or UK before, I mean, as they're approaching you, they will tell you that they are putting on their body cam so that you will know that whatever it is you say is, is being recorded. I mean, what do you think whatever you say is a camera recording of the conversation you're having? Of course, in Nigeria, here you see a police say whatever I use against you, would you go to court and use the word of your mouth? And it's transmitted straight to the central server, and it's not just recording. The conversation is being monitored. So when there's an emergency, maybe there's a medical emergency, for instance, somebody just, maybe you develop something while driving, and then, effectively. So a citizen decides to buy maybe a glasses, for instance, and the new glasses that is being sold now, and then they have camera, they have recorder, and then the policeman, you are breaking the glass. Why? The citizens, they have the rights to city at night, and it's something I've done before. I remember there was a time I went for And then we got to Ibadan. There was a filling station. So a couple of the guys there, that can we go to a nearby police station? And everybody looked at me like, wait a minute, please, where's the nearby police station? You go in there. Oh, talk to whoever is on duty. Oh, I'm so and so. I'm on transit. I'm said any crime. Just right there. And I had to put a call through to the Lagos State people and Iṛsᴛ or whatever they call them. And then these police guys just came out, all looking unkempt. Someone even had the palm slippers. His uniform was not even fully buttoned and light. So imagine what would have happened at night. So I think that was why I purposely played that social message, so that the police would understand their responsibilities within the society. I'm supposed to say, Oga, see what is going on. But when you're walking on the street and then you see a policeman riding bicycle and he's hanging his rifle on his neck, how do you feel safe? I mean, I feel we can actually do more. Yes, the issue of Nigerians being under policed, and if you look at it, statistically, we don't have up to 400,000 policemen in Nigeria. And how many are we as citizens? We are over to citizens like you and I. Majority of them, maybe not 50-50, maybe 40% of them see one Nigerian being surrounded by about 15-20 policemen. And you're wondering, or trailers that they would escort into Lagos. And you're asking yourself, so what is left for for Nigerians? Like we said, in every of this profession, there are always those bad eggs, and I would always find a way, to mess things up. But traffic here, and then you find out that there's a police officer in front, rather than to be checking vehicles, he's actually collecting money. And he can move on. You don't even care the people. You don't even do anything. And then you just create unnecessary offense. Instead of you to have a mutual conversation with the person, you go and have that case. We're going to be discussing two things on the show today. First off, the CVR, the continuous voter, to go pick up your PVCs, go register. INEC said the last time we monitored that within 11 hours that the website was open, they've had, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that have registered. So it is an opportunity to even do that before everybody else, because there will be governorship elections in those states next year. So it is an appeal to us. We're going to be looking at the political importance or to do business within the bank and all of that. Do you look at, the visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Brazil? That's the country by himself. He's marketing the country that had not been attended to. How do you walk up to me and say, you know what, this is the perfect time to invest in the country? On the show today, Mr. D.M. Saka joins me via phone at...
Time for nation. We must rise to it. They are killing people in the east, in the west, in the south, in the north.
Just meet new ones, and a fresh twist adds up to the old subplot. Situation Room. Here, we bring together the main actors to take their turns on pressing issues. Dicey every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. The Situation Room. We are always watching.
Those who are against say, nah, the eyes have it.
Open defecation in Nigeria perpetuates a cycle of poor health, environmental degradation, and undermines human dignity. With approximately 47 million people practicing open defecation nationwide, Nigeria ranks among the top countries globally, with the highest number to our general well-being. In that light, we from Mainland 98.3 FM call on the government to increase its efforts in providing public toilets to end this scourge. And we also encourage the citizenry to imbibe proper hygiene and not defecate in public.
What about
Thank you very much and welcome back. If you're joining us for the very first time, you're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and this program is called The Situation Room. I told you that, but then we dig into those two major issues that are raised today. First off, people should encourage people about, and what I mean is this. When INEC announced that we have about 93 million registered voters ahead of the 20, like, wait a minute, In Osun State, there are PVCs as high as over 300,000 unclaimed, and it's almost everywhere. So when we talk about electoral reforms, when we talk about getting it right, when we call citizen engagement, what role do we play when it comes to election? Do we just wake up every day and then maybe there's election today and then we choose not to vote on election day? We choose to use the opportunity to play football. I've covered loads of election in this country and some roads, and a lot of them will tell you that we don't have time to go and vote. You can't queue, but you can be on the street for hours instead of you to go exercise your franchise. You want to participate in the election. You want to vote who makes the law on your behalf. You want to vote for the constant visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Vis-a-vis that in October 2025, it's going to be exactly 2 years that the president had recalled all of the ambassadors that we had during the last administration, and it's all in a period where the entire world is aligning and realigning. People are asking questions. Yes, the former president said it belongs to everybody, belongs to nobody. But when it comes to international politics, your alliances, your run to what countries do your citizens feel safe? If I travel from Nigeria, which other country do I feel like, oh, Nigeria has a solid? I have me why, because everybody in this country now is left and right. Good to have you join us on the show today.
It's nice to be here.
And first off, let me also appreciate you for it's a short notice, but of course, you always create time to talk to the people. And the CVR is back on. Yes, a lot of people will tell you that it's a regular thing. Election is coming. They want us to vote. Our vote will not count. We will not do this one, Mr. DMSAK, especially
a regular, can I say, regular effort and fertility that when we had the issue of beavers or no beavers, and the electoral act was amended to accommodate beavers, and we won. I was on a platform that had Festus Okoye on the other side of the divide. And used to me back then was the law did not allow them. What was I saying? It's enough for us to tell people to go, because you are generous enough for them to allow a part or one half of the process to make everything electronic. Why do I have to fill the form to the process to a stage, then have to go to one remote? On that platform yesterday, I came up with another argument to puncture the narrative, which was my argument yesterday. Can be posting videos from the forest of Zamfara, Kebbi and Sokoto. Time. I don't think there's no place in Nigeria, and I've traveled across this country except maybe we want to go to a fluctuation of camera and everything, etc. So if you can, in the confident physical contact with these banks, I think I know the law. Why didn't INEC as the body? It makes it more, although completed now coming to Lagos.
And the other side is Ogun State.
So after the elections, they'll be shouting. I have not seen, the only thing I've seen from ADC is the chapter, Gombe State chapter, speaking to people in the APC elected into the platform. Which just concluded whether you like it or not. But to the councillors are mobilizing people to go get their PVC, to go into this exercise. But they're relying on the figures of INEC to show that without survey that you can think and push the president for 27. 2026, yes, 2026 or November, December. So they're just waiting to grab power without doing enough. And like I've been saying, with Gen Z, a lot of people that feel it's time for us to revolt. When you get it the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, please. And you know how, if these centers do not open on weekends, are we not being delusional? We are allowing us to have the excuse that it's not the law. Is information technology or intellectually it's for convenience conversation? I've never seen, and I stand to be corrected, she said anything strong to it. I've never seen Peter Obi say anything strong to it. Go to start direct starting campaigning even I've never seen any of these prominent opposition figure click a misstep, a slip to capitalize on. Country need an opposition, yes. Do I see opposition as opposition must get into like contributing to the deepening of our democratic culture and values? That's all we're asking for. And it's not too much to ask for. It won't be different. Now, 20 million people can register crazily. This archaic, primitive method, or non-deliberate.
Mr. Saka, now sorry to hold your thoughts. I've picked a lot from what you said. You've talked about how the opposition. You also know that you're right. The citizens themselves. PVC is the power to change whatever it is that I want. A lot of people. Do I need Peter Obi to tell me to go register my PVC? Do I need Bayo Onanuga to tell me to register my link in terms of interest? Is
as a person, if we need it more, we'll push more for it. I don't know about not to know that if they lack initiative and the self-awareness to know that this is their right to make their lives better. And somebody wants a national history or journey to nationhood, what either of the parties should do it. And if both are not doing the will and determination to have it or to use it to utilize it, I believe in Nigeria and I'll never lose my sleep for them. That's the bitter truth. Because it was this that will make it easier for us to participate. But no, we are not. Those are violence, when I mean violence, verbal violence, confrontation. If you don't vote, because there's a record to prove that you voted, access to social amenities and what have you.
You are denied.
You're just giving secondary balls and what have you. Anything. So I think we need a lot of things to be done. We need to copy that from Brazil. We should call for early voting too, where people like you and I will be able to vote. Because on election days we're busy. Where paramilitary military institutions and security agencies will be voting, because on election days they are busy. Where social service people are allowed to vote because they are busy on election days. These are things. So we copy one, and that's it. That's without the early voting too. They mail it in. Now we might see you might not want to mail it in. But you can tell these people to go early, open the country because we want to vote, just that the economy. We need to get to the one. God protect us till then and beyond. Okay, I can place a bet of $1 million with you. We still have the same conversation.
That's why they call it.
This process, why it is primitive, why they must change, why nothing has changed. $1 million. We are not open to gambling, but just for emphasis.
And we'll talk about the issue of Nigeria's where we are in terms of the lack of trust that the people have in the electoral system. I mean, we were not 18 last year, so now they can register to vote. A lot of people also location exactly. All of those, yeah. But let's also look at the whole idea of my vote coming to exhausting, having to go over this conversation won't count. The already leadership structure within the can leave. Mr. Honorable Tunde Afeez is there because he was the vice chairman. So when you sit down, the world where it's almost like a rotation between the elite and the privileged in the society, and then somebody comes to say under the sun or in the rain, and people will come out to say that, oh, we've seen situation because of inter-party issues. We've had judgment being given on technical grounds. We're not questioning all of these calls. But do you really blame them, Mr. Adeyemi? Especially when they tell you that my vote won't count.
Okay, I probably want to say, thank God you and I have bias. If you're playing the game and your goals are not clear goals, but your players are behind your ball, the referee to shove his last name now. The man that they teach a wealth and everything. Once there is light, there can't be darkness. And if there is light for 24 hours a day, there can't be darkness. All thanks to the system is bad because of two things. We are indulging it, we are encouraging it by not participating. If a polling unit has 300, please, there is no way you can turn 280 to 20. It's overwhelming. And when they know trend and know that this is the perception of the around it, I can give you an instance. Ocean, based on the constitutional provision across the state, shows that because it was the election of, I think, yeah, it was 2022, that couldn't come into play because of it. So, whether we are engaging, it's not how much we criticize in 1990. This is why a region can be kids who come out to vote and mobilize. But I don't think our democracy and start becoming the would learn to vote. And we look at India, Conda, and Saudi, no matter how much they want to, okay, that's true. But imagine you overwhelm the party of the states.
We'll leave this conversation real quick so that I'll go to the other one and I'll let you go. I've always asked this question every time you one, and I've constantly been asking. It's almost like it's a personal decision that I asked the same question from my guest yesterday, Dr. Martin Onovo, the church in our election. And when we opened the conversation last week, I want us to review as a matter of urgency, Mr. Adeyemi, as we prepare for the 2027 election. Let's do.
When you graduate like regional heads, or regional co-chairs, if you have because it's not from south, let the chairman come from north, man south, something like that. Again, another thing is to allow the ministry of applicable specific that must be locally and start voting ahead of to ensure that electoral disputes are conducted and are resolved beyond before inauguration.
Okay.
And I'm serious because these are things that will tidy up our politics. Again, and if you didn't score a certain number of votes from accredited voters across board, you cannot contest. You see, all these things will just turn up people's input, but electronic voting must come in. Electronic counting must come in.
Yeah, I've heard quite a lot of posts. I've also said, we should be able to vote with our PVCs just like we can vote, just like we can work at Alausa. And because I registered in Alausa on election day because there's no movement and I cannot come to.
Such as the argument. Do you know why a lot of votes, ballot box snatching happens on election day? You
spend like 2 hours there.
Let me say, you are restricted. You are cowed somewhere because there's only police with guns and soldiers moving around. But you cannot have an active society and make sure that you be coming with bottles and sticks. When you pass to a mechanic workshop that they have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyemi. Now let's cross over to the issue of our international diplomacy, and I'm going to ask you in clear terms. It's questionable to wonder why the largest black nation in the world, Africa's largest democracy, one of the largest in the world as well with our population. Yes, they are still head of missions, manning our embassies or our foreign missions globally. But in October 2023, the president released a letter and ordered the recall of all of the ambassadors. And it's almost 2 years, Mr. Adeyemi. We are yet to, reappoint all of these ambassadors. We know how these things work. In the last 2 years, especially since the coming back of President Donald Trump, there's been sorties of countries that have been tested on the ground of religion, on the ground of political affiliation. Oh, as a country, what's your position on the war going on in Ukraine and Russia? The EU has visited a lot of countries. In fact, by the time the president is back in the country, we'll have spent over 200 days out of the less than 900 days that Israel, the third time is visiting Brazil. This is his third visit to Brazil since he got sworn in. I understand what everybody's position. The president is the president, and the fact that his presence even builds some form of, respect. But when the president visits this country, and then we sign bilateral agreements, and there are no ambassadors to follow up this bilateral agreement, where do you think Nigeria's foreign relations stands at the moment? Are we at any risk whatsoever, Mr. Adeyemi?
There's worrisome. It begs for our attention that why don't we have ambassadors, at those stations, estimate from foreign ground. For sake of conversation and using word finds and probably remote, I want to say some things based on what I will not be here to tell you that M16.
Leave him.
No, we have to educate people because that's the truth. Now, There's a show where we watch and analyze things. We brought to Kano jets expensively under Mahmoud, but as a close observer, I can tell you that the president's attention and foreign policy has tilted towards the BRICS nation. Now, he's going to be a strong player in the avionics and aviation industry. I don't want to give him a free advice. That is responsible for zero. Is one of the country. Brazil is just one of the two: Egypt, Algeria, South Africa. Nigeria coming. We just have 22 attack helicopters. That we've been able to sustain the defense bilateral agreements with countries like Turkey, that sits on the part of Nigeria, or some 5 or 12 attack helicopters from Turkey. Now, the country might not probably be strong, and Russia. So our foreign policy is, I think, if you ask me my opinion, away from defense as somebody that is not still stuck on Bala Blue of his foreign policy
from what he has set on ground.
And I think I should look at things not just on the surface value, but really critically analyze and evaluate. Not engaging in war that has a very, and that's why Nigeria, if you look at DICON has been they've been to Turkey, they've been to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, they've been to Azerbaijan, and they've done a little bit of things with Japan. So, if you look, yes, we need those guys on ground for administrative control and everything. But we don't. The mission. We are not shutting down missions. We don't just have the administrative, the representative, quote and unquote. We're still running.
So we're safe, Mr. Adeyemi.
From my perspective, which by extension guarantees your public safety, you can't be safe in your country. Imagine what we would do as a country. Imagine how cheap that would be cheaper for us to operate than operating to Kanos to be engaging the bandits and what have you. Asymmetric warfare, urban warfare, with terrorism, banditry can be classified as you. I think it's not just for him for his administration. He has laid a solid ground for us as a country. Just interest, education, stake in defense. I'm not for APC. I'm not an APC, and that is a don't know. If it's not sustained, what happens to us, our foreign policy will crash. If it's sustained, we are fantastic as a nation, irrespective of who is in office.
Okay. I'm happy because I just
Sorry to button.
Go on.
Apache HAHD, that's the code name. The Apache was the fourth generation. Even the first sell to us for a very long time until this government came on board. We have, of course, the country we're engaging with. So it takes some people to look beyond it. You probably have an idea of where we are and where we are heading to. You don't be a rocket scientist to know if you are dealing with India, you're dealing with Brazil. So I beg, we know where we are heading to.
Great opinions, and I would probably just feel like, a lot of people feel like, well, we're safe. That the fact that the president, I've had series of conversations with you, and I know how grounded, or at least, issues from, some of the service chiefs, the former service chief that are saying that the only way we can combat terrorism is to have a COVID-19 kind of lockdown in the country again. We've had the level of killings going on in this country is more like a war-like situation. And so when Ukrainians actually die within that period, but if you look at all of this series of attacks from Benue to Plateau to Taraba to Sokoto to Katsina, it looks like it's one issue. It looks like we are still dancing around the circle. Why is it difficult?
Well, I will say this, my opinion. The missing link in our
doing a good job.
I'm coming. Well, so that's why I said my opinion. Video keeps doubting his credentials as NSC. He probably could have been a fantastic cop. And it's evident based on what we've seen in the country. I think we've been shocked of the DSS. Because you heard when the DSS came out and said they gave a report on me. And to speak to what retired General Tūkọ̀, you don't need to lock down the country. Government, which he was a part of, messed up where they don't buffer zone, push these bandits to an isolated location in the forest, and neutralize them there. But no, that's why they couldn't have locked the ball in Niger. So, and you don't treat some people as very important criminals. Reduce it to farmers' elders clash. It doesn't help us. It's a crime. It's a crime. Go after them. Deal with them like criminals. No other body will have the representative bought rifles, pump actions for his constituents. The bandits will go to Frontier because they don't want to die. Because of the engaged as well. Is it Paloa? Yeah. Look at government. So I guess don't let us.
And helped us to either make progress or look stagnated some way.
We can. Let me just answer you. That's DSS instance. It shows that you see a lot of us ministry or the military. The person we should be looking at is the National Security Advisor, who coordinates the person. So what's the you see, it was in this country, and these are times that Katsina had 57 cadets for the DSS, more than the whole region in Southwest or Southern Nigeria. Anambra had one under Muhammadu Buhari. To be crying that they are killing them, whatever. But when they were laying the foundations that would probably, encourage these killings and what have you, they were criminally silent.
I hope we make the desires. One of the conversation one of the slogans I've always held on to so dearly is this whole idea of if you see something, you say something. Let me use the South African language. Ubuntu seems to have been questioned lately because these days you don't even know who stands where because we've been divided along different lines of ethnic, of religious, of tribe, of political affiliation. It's a whole lot of mess. But everybody often this relationship or this level of trust between the people and the security agencies. So I suspect someone in my community and then I report him to the police, for instance, and then they pick him up and then they tell him that, Mr. Adeyemi, as we wrap up this conversation.
Well, I think two things is that, in fact, this is not even about the threat of exposure. It's who is paying you more, who makes you feel safer, who is controlling the safety of the farm, that they are the government on ground. You probably want to go, toe the lines and follow them. Again, the economic hardship, like I said, in 2023, 2024, made us, we bring about compromised human intelligence. And one thing, how did that terrorist hideout in Kaduna turn to talk? Economic hardship plays a key role to us. So we need to find a way to make sure that this economy that is stable reflect on the living condition and standard of Nigerians, and with them we can now have bankable, reliable intel that will serve as human intelligence.
Mr. Adeyemi, I have a couple of messages here and a few calls that would definitely come in. I would have to pick. I don't know if you would, just stay on the line for me a little bit so that if there are questions, you may also want to respond to those questions. Thank you. I've been speaking with Mr. Adeyemi Saka. He's a public affairs analyst, and on the show today we've looked at two major things. The constant call for Nigerians to get involved in the continuous voters registration. Go and register to have this democracy for the next 1,000 years. There's nothing anybody wants to do about it. So the only way you can change a government is not going to be via coup. It's not going to be via any revolution. It's going to be via the ballot. So the earlier we get used to this space, the better for every one of us. And that means that if you've not registered, you should go and register, and don't have it at the back of your mind. I just want to register to vote. And that's a fact. You heard my guest saying that in Brazil, if you don't register, if you don't vote on election days, you be a second-class citizen when accessing public amenities, and that's the fact. Because you did not vote for the government that is providing those amenities. It's as simple as they will always say, if you did not invest on me, you can't cause that. If you didn't vote in an election, whether your candidate lost or won, the most important thing is that you voted. And the constitution does not say that the president should preside over only members of his political, either for or against. You should be willing to do that. It's your rights to vote. It's a franchise. It means, okay, let me start from Tunde from Agbura, and it says, good evening. Yemi Saka is speaking for APC and INEC. Is you know that alone discourages people from voting? Nigerians, please go and register to Kuru. Okay, this is a lengthy one though, but let me just touch of ambassadors by doing eye service and seeking relevance. How many times have you seen Ghana, South Africa, and other African country president traveling the way the president does? All this wasteful and unnecessary traveling has not yielded any results. Money that will have been used for development is being wasted. And just like I'm saying, they took the children's bread and gave it. Okay. Thank you to the police for a cover innocently. Ope, you're on your own. They're always terrible and horrifying. Their signature is Mua Nigeria Limited. Papa J from Ujodu. I think you're making reference to how we started the program as regards how the people need, or the police need to gain back the trust of the people. Ambassadors in Brazil. I don't expect the president to be going to Brazil all the time. As for marketing of Nigeria, you cannot market defectors. Good evening. Thank you for bringing Mr. Saka. It's always a pleasure when I hear him on radio. It's always very deep. Thank you. On board, there would have an end to unnecessary traveling by the president because area in Ikorodu. Thank you very much, Festus, for dropping your message. Let me pick calls. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Paya. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Hello, General. Good evening.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, this is Samuel calling from Ikeja.
Mr. Samuel, good to have you on the show. Let's do this in one minute.
I greet your guest. Mr. Paya, this evening, I agree with. Let's not justify what is not right. You understand? Foreign policy is okay. It's okay. So I don't understand. Listening to the president yesterday in Brazil, you can see the international eliminate corruption in Nigeria. You can see all this propaganda.
Let me ask you: is the president? Oh, hello. Good evening.
This is Barrister Peter Oko. I called before.
I'm not talking about subsidy. I'm talking about. I'm coming. With the removal of subsidy.
We are calling at the same time.
Mr. Aka, I greet you. I does not even talk. Because the process, for example, in Rivers State Governor is corruption. So corrupt, I'm not an expert. But the common man, the layman, what you understand is food has gone down. Has food gone down? What you understand is drugs have gone down. Has drugs gone down? What you understand from your play every time is that can power manufacturing industry. That's where we can say Huru. So those are the factors that we are talking about. Is there any housing policy? How much is the dollar? So if these things are not in place, what about education? Okay, I just paid over 500,000 naira for my school. They pay 4-5 billion in private schools. I cannot afford private school. So I knew what I went through before I was able to pay. Another one is waiting for me.
Pastor Bruce, let's wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You.
Well, ASU, the leadership of ASU are threatening that they are preparing. I hope this one will not get to that point. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Okpayemi.
You're welcome.
My name is Peter Osifo. I'm calling from Abanonjanikoto.
Let's do this in 1 minute, Mr. Osifo.
Yeah, whether we have ambassadors or not, the president will always travel. To me, the ambassadorial position is just ceremonial and to create jobs, in foreign affairs for the boss in certain areas, whether it's in Africa, Europe, or America. That is for that. Then, for the continuation and the sensation of the voters through the continuous voters registration, it should NOA, National Orientation Agency. Why the political parties are to sensitize their people through mix. Then, lastly, for insecurity, there has to be a synergy, as I've always said on certain platforms, fueled by the three political sets, have to also come in. But the communities too have to checkmate.
Thank you, Mr. Sifo. Thank you. I have to let you go right now. Adiyemi Saka, that the football analogy he used for our willingness to the point, apologies, to the point that they cannot be manipulated by any individual or technicalities. Your guests should remember that some political actors are allegedly confessing rigging the 2023 presidential election. This is a clear case of state capture. No one of the press had come out to call for investigation. The only way that requires of our urgent reforms in our franchise, unfortunately, those at the helm of our affairs today would not allow it to fly because it is not going to favor them. That is James from Agbado Junction. Okay. This one says, I greet you. 2023 repeat itself once again in 2027. Where is Mr. Peter Mose and Mr. Remy? Okay. Thank you very much. Huge minus. Okay. That is Akin the Great from Ojodu Beggar. Hello, Fama. Let's do this in 1 minute.
Yes, I agree. Yes, your guest was able to market the president on his journey. Number two, your guest yesterday said that the media should do more. If I will ask, what the media wants to do again. So,
and the media,
when they are before the election of the chairmanship in this Lagos City, one of the guests that came, it was, what is this lady's name? Help me with his name. There was this museum from Ikorodu, one of the sharpest. I was saying, okay, the president that followed, I can say media should do more. And I asked, what do you? They say that this is.
Thank you for. I need to let you. You know, I'm watching a report on Al Jazeera right now, and I'm seeing, foreign journalists intervene bandit leader in Katsina community, and I'm wondering if foreign journalists can have access. To these people. Just look at young boys, little children wielding AK-47 on their, and their faces uncovered. And I'm always wondering, why have we struggled to have access to these people? Let's keep the conversation going. Next up is Mainland FM Global Cruise. Thank you. For everyone that have been a part of the production today, my name is Okoyemi Akende. Let's do this again tomorrow. But before we do it tomorrow at 4, we'll have Midweek Politics 1 to 3 p.m. Stick around. And don't forget to always keep your dial logged on Mainland 98.3 FM. Have a beautiful evening and bye for now.